And in today's video, we're going to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which is Marvel Studios' next movie, which is coming out May 5th, which is less than a month to go. So, what is freaking good, YouTube? Wish you here. If you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any Marvel, DC, pop culture-based content that we try to deliver on a daily basis. If you could subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and let me know, are you excited for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? I don't think this movie is gonna miss. I think this is gonna be the best Marvel cinematic movie coming out this year. And also, if you could, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. And if you could, check us out on Twitter, WarstuG. And also, I am streaming daily on twitch.tv/Warstu. So let's get into this video. So the movie comes out on May the 5th. We're at the start of April. Well, the 9th as the time of recording this. And we know official spoilers will be getting out very soon because press screeners, etc. will be happening very soon. James Gunn, who is now co-head of DC Studio, who is the director of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, has already given spoiler warnings and said this: it might be wise to be careful what you read on social media network sites starting the end of April if you want to avoid spoilers for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That said, I don't think your enjoyment of the film will be diminished much by knowing them, which is very interesting. So we've always known that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is the end for the original Guardians team. And obviously now this will be James Gunn's last project over at Marvel Studios because now he's co-head with Pete Safran over at DC Studios. So this is a definitive ending for his variation of Team Guardians of the Galaxy, but not necessarily the end of the Guardians. So James Gunn's been asked a bunch of questions because the press junket for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is just about to kick off. So he's asked about Kang the Conqueror. Is that going to be set up in this movie? And his response wasn't really a no, or wasn't really a yes. Fans have expressed hope that Volume 3 is focused on Guardians of the Galaxy rather than setting up more Kang stuff, which a lot of people didn't really like in Ant-Man 3, but categorically said this movie is just about his team, which is good because it's a standalone movie. Although I do believe they might slide in a mid-credit, a post-credit scene to do with Kang, but seeing as the major controversy that Disney's going under, and also Jonathan Majors in his personal life, I don't think they're going to throw a Kang post-credit scene in this movie. So he said this: please tell me this film is more focused on Guardians of the Galaxy and not setting up more Kang stuff. I love Kang in the multiverse, but Guardians of the Galaxy franchise is my favorite in the MCU. Volume 2 still gives me goosebumps in the final battle. There's so much emotion. And the response was, Volume 3 is about the ending of these Guardians, not about setting up anything else. I don't even know what's going on with other Marvel movies. I do believe that's true because now he's out of the House of the Mouse, aka Disney. We know that he probably won't know much. But whatever happens in this movie, I do believe the High Evolutionary won't be a one-and-done villain. I really hope that isn't the case. We know in the Ant-Man 3 post-credit, it set up Victor Timely for Loki Season 2, and it also set up the Council of Kangs. But I think Marvel's going to reshuffle and really double down on the Kang the Conqueror based stuff, but that's really hard because Kang's Dynasty is coming up in a few years. So, according to every person on the internet and on Twitter, apparently we're getting a trailer for Captain Marvel 2, aka The Marvels, this coming Tuesday, which would be cool. That is the next Marvel movie after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 coming out later this year, so it wouldn't be a Warstu video without going over freaking plot leak. And seeing as James Gunn's not debunked it, but he likes to debunk every single question he gets asked about DC, I don't think he's going to come out and debunk a whole plot leak, so careful with spoilers. I don't want to ruin your life. We've got a pretty good track record when it comes to going over plot leaks and them actually being real. And also, this is already out there in the public domain, so I'm not the leaker. It's already out there. So, not specifically stating where it comes from, it's just come from somewhere. So, the movie will begin with Rocket's origin. His first words are, hurts the Guardians of the Galaxy. have turned nowhere into a safe haven for the intergalactic refugee. Star-Lord is still pining for Gamora, who is now the leader of the Avengers. The Sovereigns created Adam Warlock, who ends up wiping them out in a temper tantrum. Warlock attacks nowhere and fights the Guardians, whilst the High Evolutionary catches Rocket. The Guardians recruit Gamora to help them rescue Rocket from Counter-Earth. We've seen most of this in the most recent trailer, so it does make sense. Counter-Earth, whose inhabitants live under the High Evolutionary. The Guardians find Rocket, who convinces them to stay and fight against the High Evolutionary. Warlock persuades them, but ultimately joins the team after bonding with Mantis. Drax dies during the final battle. Star-Lord finally admits Gamora is no longer the woman he loves and lets her go after defeating the High Evolutionary. Gamora, Rocket, and Groot all go their separate way, while Star-Lord, Nebula, Mantis, Cosmo, can't wait to see Cosmo in this movie. Cosmo was so cool on the Guardians of the Galaxy game that came out last year. I played it on the PS5, such a cool game. And Adam Warlock keeps guarding the galaxy. So it somewhat sets up a new Guardians of the Galaxy team, which is going to have nothing to do with James Gunn. And if this is the overall plot, to be honest, I've been over a bunch of plot leaks and they're all similar to some kind of variants of this plot leak, give or take. And it will be quite a simple movie. We know that this is going to be one of Marvel's longest movies, but it needs to be, because it's almost like a final piece to the masterpiece. I'm not saying Guardians is a masterpiece, but it's the final piece of the puzzle to the Guardians franchise, and it had a holiday special, so it's obvious what's going to happen. To be fair, Adam Warlock should have appeared in Avengers Infinity War, or at least Endgame in my opinion. The Sovereign sent Adam Warlock after the Guardians such a freaking long time ago. In Guardians, such a long time ago. It's hard to remember them actually having the Cocoon post-credit ending scene. And it does make sense they would defeat Adam Warlock. We do know the High Evolutionary created Rocket after all, and we do know we are going to see Rocket with a love interest. And it would make sense that the Guardians would defeat them and someone would die. We do know Dave Bautista is done with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, publicly stating he's done with it. And everyone was like, yeah, he 100% dies. But according to this plot leak, Drax does die, which is a shame because Drax is such a cool character. And it would make sense that the movie wouldn't necessarily tease or build anything for the future, but it's left it open with some of the Guardians crew going their own separate ways. Adam Warlock, Mantis, Cosmo forming with Star-Lord and Nebula, forming a new Guardians team, whilst not specifically calling it a Guardians team. There is still a team to protect the galaxy, which is fantastic because we don't know what any of these actors are doing in the future elsewhere. I don't think this will be the last we see of Star-Lord, Chris Pratt, Nebula, etc. I do believe that they will all appear in a roundabout way in either Avengers 5 or Avengers 6, Kang's Dynasty, or Secret Wars. I do expect some kind of continuity to do with building the long-term story, building everything up to Kang's Dynasty, maybe in a post-credit scene. But if that is the case, that would be Marvel Studios doing that. I don't believe James Gunn would slide any kind of mid-credit scene or anything like that in there, because what's the point? He's going to come out and publicly say, nah, this movie is just about ending my story with the movie, where he says the following. Volume 3 is about ending the story of these Guardians, not about setting anything else up. So they could, I do believe it will set up around about a new team for the future. I don't even know what Marvel's doing going forward with their movies. So that's pretty much the basic premise of this movie. Remember in the prologue video, we did say that James Gunn did say towards the end of the April, that's where spoilers will come online, but he did say that's not going to ruin your experience, even if you know the spoilers, because execution is execution. You can read something, but until you see it visually in a movie, a big screen, and an IMAX, it's not really the same thing. So like always, guys, let us know, what do you think about the plot leak for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? Do you think it's real? And do you think Cosmo and Adam Warlock forming a new team would be freaking insane? So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at Warstu. It's the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Check us out on Twitter, Warstu G, and I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.